Hello and welcome to another episode of Backlinking, the PKM podcast. It's been a while since I have recorded a podcast episode. I don't think that any one of you noticed because I filmed a few in advance, but I have had some issues with some inner ear stuff and some balance issues and dizziness and headaches and you name it, I've had it. I'm feeling a lot better now. I still can't like comb through my hair, so my hair might seem a little crazy. That's the issue with having long hair, is that you have to spend a lot of time on it. But I am back, and in today's episode, we are going to talk about something I've had on my list for a while now, and that is to-do list applications and whether or not they are doing the same thing that note-taking applications did a year or two ago. Because if we like go back, let's say 2019, 2020, I actually talked a little bit about this in my previous blog post. We haven't had, or previous blog post, sorry, previous podcast episode, or two podcast episodes ago, where I talked about the current state of note taking. We haven't had any new huge note taking applications for a while now, and that is probably because everyone seems to be building to do list applications. But if we go back to like 2019, 2020, 2021, we had a lot of new note-taking all-in-one applications. A lot of these all-in-one applications are note-taking apps that just have added features. At least that's what it feels like. That note-taking is what they're best at, or project management, with the ability to take notes, and they just turn into all-in-one applications. But we had a lot of them. We had a lot of note-taking apps. A lot of them are still here, like Supernotes came around that time. Obsidian came a little earlier, and there was several different reasons why we ended up having so many note-taking apps. Like the first one is that backlinking was starting to get really mainstream in the productivity space. Before that, it wasn't actually that mainstream. Like Rome sparked this whole idea of linking your ideas together. Then we got Obsidian, we have Logsec as well. Then we got Reflect a little later. The last three was like Anytype Capacities and Tana, which also like they came out a couple of years ago, but they have been developed since. I think Tana started like in the start of the pandemic, and that is the second reason we actually had a pandemic, which meant that people needed all-in-one applications. They needed more note-taking. They had more time to look at note-taking applications. There was like several different things that gave us this boom in note-taking applications. A lot of them are still around. I don't think that they will be around like for a very long time. I still think that we have too many note-taking applications. There isn't enough people for all of these note-taking applications. At least not enough people that are really into note-taking. So I've talked about this several times before as well. I think the market at some point has to desaturate. And when I interviewed the founders of Supernotes, they actually said exactly the same thing, that at some point the market has to desaturate. We have lost a few note-taking apps like Clover, which was actually a note-taking app I was a really big fan of and really wanted to use, is no longer here. It got acquired by Figma. Um, so we no longer have that application. There are a few others as well, and there are a few we're not sure how they're going to end up. Like Walling, for example, we've been waiting for an update there for a long time. Not We haven't gotten anything yet. Um, and for the last year or so, like I do a lot of reviews. I spend it feels like half of my life just testing applications, and I find it really fun. But I've seen a lot more new to-do list applications, especially going into this year and these first 3 months of this year. It feels like all the new applications are task management applications. I wouldn't say to-do list applications because they are more like task management tools because they offer a lot more. And I've seen a lot of different stuff, like the current one I'm using. Which I got into, I think it was a month or two ago. It is a little different because it combines email, task management, and calendar. So I really like that. It also has a lot of AI stuff, but it is expensive and it is in early access. I will do a whole video. I have that planned, a video on the applications I'm currently using. But that was one of them. I get a lot of emails from applications asking me to check them out, and I check out every single one, and I choose to do a review or a first impression video on a few of them that look interesting. But the emails I've gotten this year, the start of this year, are almost only to-do list applications, and they are one specific type of to-do list applications. They are to-do list or task management applications with some sort of AI. And I think there are several reasons why we're here with task management apps, just like there was several reasons why we ended up with the same thing with note-taking applications. And I think like the main thing is that we have some new technology like AI to help us organize, plan our tasks. So there is a lot of opportunity there. And also the fact that we had applications like Archiflow, Sama, Motion, applications like that, which aren't too old. These are called daily planner applications. Well, Motion is much more, but Archiflow and Susama are daily planner applications, which basically just consolidates your tasks and hold your hand as you try to plan out your day. Morgan is another one, which was originally it was originally a calendar application, but I feel like it fits much better in the daily planner application um, field, in the daily planner application field. So we had a few of these new ones showing us that there is something new coming up with daily planner applications. Like before that, we did not have as many, at least not daily planner applications that would hold your hand. We had applications like, I think TickTick had a way, for example, to just do calendar blocking with your task, but we didn't have like dedicated daily planner applications. These daily planner applications are also quite expensive compared to to-do list applications. Like if you compare Akiflows and Sama to Todoist, they are much more expensive, but people are still willing to pay for those tools. And I think people are willing to pay much more for task management than they are for note taking, just simply because task management is like managing your tasks as a knowledge worker, as a busy professional, feels like your most important thing. Like the most important thing is to know what tasks you have and know when you should do them. And also like people use things like calendar blocking as a way to get more done, to accomplish more. So I think a lot of people really uh, will really pay more for for a task management tool than they will for a note-taking application. Or not only do I think that they do it, I am pretty sure that they do it because most especially daily planner applications, but a lot of task management applications are more expensive than just regular basic note-taking applications. So people are willing to pay more for those tools. And I think like the combination of daily planner applications coming into the market, a lot of AI, and I think AI will be great for task management. Think of like the point of all of this AI in task management, and we still don't know what AI is going to become. That is like a discussion for whole nother a whole nother podcast episode, which is actually coming soon. So stay tuned for that. It is coming. But apart from like what is AI going to be, I think, that whole discussion, I think AI will inside of task management applications will feel more like a personal assistant, which is what everyone dreamt of when we first saw task management applications. An application that will do all of the planning for you, will tell you where to be and when you should be there. Like basically a personal assistant in the form of an application. That is what has been everyone's dream with AI and to-do list applications. And I think that's where we are headed. So the combination of all of these things actually has actually led us here to the point where uh, to-do list applications right now, or task management applications, feel really a lot like note-taking applications did just a few years ago. Then the question becomes like, what does this actually mean for us as consumers? Like, for me personally, that means that app switching will again become an issue. I'm not struggling that much with app switching on the note-taking front, or at least I haven't this year. And after my system fell apart, of course, and that is probably because I have tested every single one of them. There isn't anything new. There is no fear of missing out. There is no new fancy feature. I have actually tested out every single one of the like mainstream and even the less mainstream note-taking applications on the market. But whenever we have like new applications popping up everywhere, and I mean like literally everywhere, there is a new AI task management application popping up every single day. It is so easy to just jump into the next application, jump into the next tool, change applications because this new one has a feature that you would love to try out and that would fix all of your workflow. Like we've been through this shiny news tool syndrome discussion. Um, but that issue becomes bigger when we have applications popping up everywhere. So that is the first thing. The second thing is that all of these applications can't be around 5 to 10 years from now. It is impossible to have like 300 task management applications. People don't use them that much, and they are definitely not willing to pay for them that well. Like there isn't enough people out there willing to pay for task management applications. Uh, like things like, let's say, just let's take Akiflow, Sansama. Like people are willing to pay for those applications, but those are really specific people. Like if I were to discuss with my sister or with my fiance or even with my friends, none of them would even consider paying 10, 15, 20 USD for a task management applications. They just use reminders or Microsoft To Do, or my fiance actually uses Tools, but I force her to, so that doesn't count. But uh, basically, no one I know are willing to pay that amount of money for task management tools when you have free ones. So what I'm basically trying to say here is that these applications try to reach a certain niche of people, and that is the people like heavily invested in productivity, and in some cases like really busy professionals that need some sort of task consolidation and some help with task organizing. And even those people, I don't think that everyone are willing to pay for task management tools. At least it doesn't feel like that all the time, that people like busy professional are willing to pay or use task management applications. So there is like a limited market there, and we can't have two, three, 400 applications. It seems like that's where we're headed, like with 3 to 4 applications coming out every single day. So you need to keep that in mind, that all of the applications will probably not be there in a few years, and a lot of the applications do exactly the same thing. They just look different. That is also a thing to keep in mind. A lot of the applications have the same philosophy, they do exactly the same thing, but they just look different. And how I've just ended up approaching this is that, and I did this long before this whole new to-do list application thing happened, was that I sat down, and that was probably because my system just completely fell apart. I sat down and I thought about what features do I actually need, what features are good to have, and what features are just shiny shiny tools that I gravitate towards. And I wrote all of those things down. I figured out my philosophy behind behind my productivity in general, but in this case, task management. I also did a lot on note taking, and combined like those two and figured out what applications I want to use, which made it a lot easier for me to actually stick with applications. And I'm in a situation here that, like, my life when it comes to task management, it changes a lot. But I think I've figured out the application I'm going to use. But if you let me try to explain that a little easier. Like, if you go 5 to 6 months back, I never had meetings. Like, meetings weren't a part of my life. Now I have daily stand-up meetings. I have at least 3 meetings every single day on my day job. Then I have a lot more meetings when it comes to all of the social media stuff. Like, I think I have 3 to 4 meetings when it comes to social media stuff as well every single week. So uh, during a week, I have a lot of meetings. I have at least like around 15 meetings at my day job, and then I have a few more. So let's say around 20, 22 meetings, something like that. And of course, this varies a little from week to week, but um, approximately around 20 meetings each week. I'm not going to discuss whether or not that is a good or a bad thing, but I have a lot of meetings. So suddenly I needed an application, a task management tool that did well with meetings, because meetings became a huge part of my life. And also my calendar application, Rise Calendar, rest in peace, is gone. So I had to find a new way. I used that for task management as well. So it wasn't only meetings, even though Rise Calendar did a great job with meetings, but I had to change. I did not have a choice. My calendar application is no longer with us. Which brings me back to my point, all the applications can't be around. So that is like my approach towards it. I have landed on my applications. I've been with them. My note-taking app I've been with for a long time now. And like in general, I have talked about this several times. I have landed my applications as long as none of them disappears. But in general, uh, I have my system nailed down now, so I am going to make a video on that system, or at least I have it for now. You never know. I tend to break my systems and start all over again, but at least for now I have it nailed down. And if it continues to stay like this for a month or so, I will do the which applications I'm currently using video that I know people want to see, and I know that people want to see it because those are always the videos that get the most views. But that covers it for today's video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. I will try to get to them as soon as I can. Thank you so much for watching today's podcast episode, or listening to it. Thank you so much.